their personal identity was much faster. Now, the second reason to this is a lack of education that occurred during this time period. As the men were sent off to war, the women were encouraged to participate in factory work and get jobs to help the war effort. Therefore, their education and actually continuing that through items such as college decreased as well. Defining who they actually were and lacking education means that their personal identity was affected, and we saw much more of a trend of loyalty than pursuing individualism. Now, the second generation is the Generation X, also known as Gen Xers. And their main compromise, or really what affected their personal identity, was a social change that we haven't seen in generations prior. William Strauss from Angelo State University in Texas on August 8th of 2016 narrates that the Gen Xers lived through the civil rights movement, the implementation of Title IX, and saw the biggest decrease in racial tendencies than any generation prior to that. Because of this, they had two reasons that affected their personal identity as well. The first being an idea of freedom and equality. It's pretty self-explanatory that they started to see more of themselves in other people and started to work with that group, which is the second reason that affected their personal identity. Having a group mentality towards society helped them pursue their generation's goal as a whole. Now, the final generation, we finally get to analyze ourselves and look at the millennials. And the biggest compromise, or what's affected our personal identity, has been technology. And again, this can be broken down to two reasons. The first is social media, and the second is accessibility. We see these linked together from time to time with things such as LinkedIn that connects us all over the country and even the globe, and allows us to find jobs, etc. So in conclusion, we need to be wary of these generational divides. And what that means is informing ourselves on topics such as what happened in those generations. And today we've done exactly that. By going over the greatest generation, the Generation X, and the millennial generation, next time that old man scuffs, we can ask him about his generation and tell him how great ours is.
Thank you.